بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وخاتم النبيين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بالإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm your brother Abdul-Lateef from both Abdul-Lateef.com as well as ArabicVirtualAcademy.com. Today I want to talk with you about something that is causing a lot of us a lot of issues, a lot of problems. And this is something that we learned as children in terms of theory. You know how our slogan is from theory to application. We learned a lot of things growing up as theory, but we find that we don't really apply them. We were never really shown how to apply them or the importance of the application of certain things. Now, what I'm going to tell you, the majority of you already know, but we need to listen all the way through the video. I'm going to keep it short, and I'll probably break up and make a few other videos around this topic. But with this one, I'm just going to touch on the surface level about this particular issue. And this is what we do when information comes to us. Unfortunately, we all understand that we need to categorize any information that comes to us. Religious, secular, I don't care if it's about hadith, fiqh, aqidah, lugha, or it may be about medicine, or engineering, or psychology, or philosophy, or whatever it is we're learning. Or even better yet, we'll talk about something that we're dealing with right now, and this is this whole coronavirus thing. طيب. We need to understand that we need to train our brain to think a certain way. So we stop doing and believing foolish things at times. Because a lot of us, we believe something, or we say we know something is a certain way because somebody that we trust said it. Or some even worse, somebody that we know says it's somebody that we trust said it. So this makes us, we know it, we stand firm on it. And in all actuality, this isn't the criterion for something that we know. طيب. And I'm going to try to draw a small tree for you today. And I want you to take out your pencils or your pens and a piece of paper. And I want you to draw this tree on a piece of paper in front of you. And keep it. Because, like I said, I'm going to try to do other videos on other days where I come back to this tree that we're going to draw, and I'm going to talk in detail on each aspect of this tree. So what we need to know is first, any type of information, any bit of information that comes to you, somebody comes to you and tells you their name, your brain already should have one of three categories set up. This is something I know it has to be true. Now, mind you, all information needs to be looked into. Any information that comes to you needs to be looked into. But because of some outside reasons, some we just know it has to be correct. Not because of the information itself, but because of that outside reason. Type. Like, for example, there's a lot of proof and evidence behind the statement, La ilaha illallah. that nothing has the right to be worshipped other than Allah. Now, mind you, I'm not talking about the ayah in the Quran or the ayat in the Quran, and I'm not talking about the ahadith. I'm just talking about the statement. Abdul-Lateef said it. Tayyib. The statement itself needs to be looked into. Is it true or is it false? But when it comes in the Quran, we know, all right, listen, it's true. Can't argue against that. There are certain reasons that when we tie these reasons with information, it makes it's without a shadow of a doubt correct. Without a shadow of a doubt. It's not possible it can be wrong. This information is considered to be mutawatir. For those of you who are familiar with what it is, it's a certain type of information that it's not possible it can be incorrect. This, we know it has to be correct. We know it's got to be true. Then we have another type of information that we know. Not because of the information itself, but because of that which is tied in with this information. This is something that we know has to be a lie. It's not possible that this can be correct. Like statement, somebody comes to you and tells you that their son is older than his father. You say, wait a minute. You expect me to believe that? You know there's no way in the world someone's son can be older than his father. Or even better yet, we'll leave that example alone because you might say that sounds foolish. But you know that has to be incorrect. Another thing is when we bring two opposites together. I mean, real opposites. Like, if I tell you, I saw Ahmed walking down the street and he was dead and alive. Or he was walking down the street and he's dead. Tayyib. And you say, how? And I say, because he's alive and he's dead at the same time. These two opposites we can't bring together. It's impossible for someone to be sitting and standing at the same time. Tayyib. There are certain things that we know have to be a lie or incorrect. And there are certain things that we know have to be truthful or correct. Tayyib. These are things that we know. Without a shadow of a doubt, we know that this is the way it is. Now, this is over here and this is over here. Now we have something that comes down in the middle. So you have, when you draw it, you bring it down and you make that line that goes over here and that line that goes over here, and one comes down in the middle. This is what we know has to be true. This is what we know has to be false. And this is that information. I can't say it doesn't go, I don't know, does it go over here or go over there? I don't know. I tell you, okay, there's food on my stove right now cooking. We don't know if that's correct or if it's incorrect. So that goes into that pile of information we have to look into. We need to find out, is this correct or is it incorrect? Does Abdul-Lateef actually have food on his stove, his stove cooking right now or not? We can't say I know it's true. Because why? Because I know Abdul-Lateef, he's not going to lie to me. So I know it's true. You don't know because of those reasons. You can say, I think it's true, but you don't know. There's a difference between what we know and what we think. You can't say, okay, Abdul-Lateef, he's a liar. May Allah forbid that. So I know he's got to be lying. No, it's possible that a liar can tell the truth. Tayyib. So this isn't something where we say, we know it's got to be false. So we put this automatically in that pile that we say, listen, it needs to be looked into. So now don't forget, we have, when we talk about what we drew, We bring it down. Well, for you all, it's going to look like this. Yes. Over here, it's going to be a line. It's going to go down. You're going to draw it down, and it's going to be a line that goes across. A line that goes down here, here, and on the other side here. This is what we know has to be true. What we know has to be false. And this is all of that stuff that needs to be looked into. I don't know if it's true or false. طيب. Now, I'm going to try not to make this video too long. But this stuff that's in the middle is all of this information. Because this stuff that we know has to be false and the stuff that we know has to be true, the majority of the information isn't like the majority of what comes to us. It all has to be looked into. And we don't put it here because of who says it. Generally. طيب. That's that information we put here. And either we could say we make that same branch. So we had the branch, the 3 levels here. Has to be true, has to be false, and needs to be looked into. Now we're going to do that same thing. We're going to draw a little line down from here. Draw a line across. And 3 lines down. Same way. On this side, we're going to write down, this is information that I think is true. Now this is where we say, okay, he's a pretty trustworthy guy, this, that, and other. I think this is true. طيب. Or all the way over this side, we say what? After looking into the information, we say, well, you know what? That guy, man, he seemed a little shady. I don't know, man. He seemed, I'm not with what he's saying. I think what he's saying was incorrect. Now, mind you, the difference between this level and this level is this is I know, and this is I think. طيب. So now we're down here with the information we wanted to look into. This is what I think is correct. This is what I think is incorrect. And all of this in the middle is, listen, I still haven't figured this out yet. طيب. Why am I telling you this? It's because we need to understand when any information comes to us, like this corona stuff. We're listening to stuff on the news. I mean, I'm not from amongst those people that say it's not real and all the rest of it. That's not my position. My position really doesn't matter about it, to be honest with you. But we don't just say because we listen to a lecture online that all of that information we got has to be correct. I live and die according to this information. I'm going to argue with people because they go against this information. When in all actuality, this is not information that we say we know has to be true or know has to be false. All we can say is, listen, I think it's true because I believe the guy. Or I think it's not true because I don't believe the guy. Or really, you know, I've heard this stuff, but I don't know where to put this information at. You understand? This is doing this, and these are the numbers, and this, that. A lot of us, we have no way of verifying any of this information that's coming to us. So for us to be sitting around arguing with one another, telling people, look, this is the way it has to be, that this is what it is, and anything else is incorrect, we're not of those people who are able to make those statements. One, because we don't know in most of these situations. We're listening to what was said by somebody that heard it from somebody else that heard it from somebody else that heard it from somebody that we don't even know their credentials, let alone whether or not they're truthful in what they say or not. So all I want us to do is, and this isn't a video about corona. It's about what we do with information, because we can apply this to aspects of our religion. You know, what do we move out on and what don't we move out on? What do we hold our stances firm about and what don't we hold our stances firm about? what is worth arguing about and what's not worth arguing about. Most of what we know is not something that we should be arguing about. Even if it's something that is absolutely true, if we don't know that, then it's not for us to be making these statements. So the gist of what I want you to understand here is that we need to begin when any information comes to us, regardless of who tells us, start putting this information where it belongs. We can't keep just taking stuff because we heard it and we trust the person that told us, even if they're not qualified to be able to verify or judge the information. They said it, so it has to be. So-and-so said, Sheikh so-and-so said something. We don't know that Sheikh so-and-so really say that. Okay, we trust that person that the Sheikh really said that. But do we know that the Sheikh meant what he said the way we heard it? If we don't, then we can't put this in the information that we know for sure. We have to fear Allah Ta'ala at some point in time. We have to begin to be able to say this, and I know this, and I think this. We cannot keep mistaking what we know for what we think, and what we think for what we know. Because if you don't see, we're creating problems in our communities because of this. We're arguing about things we shouldn't be arguing about. We're holding fast to things and blaming one another for things we shouldn't be holding fast to and blaming one another about. And we're taking positions on issues and people that we shouldn't be taking. Why? Because this is something that we think and not something that we know. May Allah Ta'ala forgive us all for our shortcomings. May He increase us in beneficial knowledge and action. And may Allah Ta'ala guide us to that which is going to be pleasing to Him and cause our success in this life and the hereafter. Ameen, Ameen, Allahumma Ameen. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdik. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Wa astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And don't forget, if you found this video beneficial, share it, like it, and don't forget to subscribe. Jazakum Allahu khair wa barakallahu fikum.